Are we good to go? Yeah, we are good to go. Hello, everyone. Your pal Alex here. Hope everybody's having a pleasant evening. And I know it's kind of late over here, but I'm not sleepy yet. So, I try to maybe make a video and do a little reading, which is what I'm actually going to talk about today. So, first and foremost, I want to, for all my friends who I've known since kindergarten, since high school, 20, 30 years easy, I want to wish all of your kids a very safe and healthy new school year. It's back to school. I grew up with you guys before you had families. You are my closest friends. One day I hope to have a family of my own, but I wish your kids the very best. Whether it's elementary, junior, high, or even college, the absolute best, a safe and healthy school year. All right, God bless all of you. I'm honored to know you, and I wish the best for every single one of you. Education is important. I know these days school gets kind of a bad rep. I just saw a bunch of videos on YouTube saying, what do we need school for? And I'm not here to judge anybody. It's a matter of opinion. Um, School wasn't the easiest, but I didn't really dislike it like a lot of people dislike it. But as far as disliking it goes, a major thing I always hear from my neighbors, they all got kids, we're all here, we all know each other forever. I know these guys, since the dawn of time. I'm 43. I know them since I was like 3. That's 40 years of history. But the one thing I do always hear is that the reading curriculum, that gym is fun, and science can be fun. You do experiments, but the reading is not the. It's kind of a downer. I mean, spoilers ahead for anybody who's watching this. A lot of books that they make you read, from my experience as well in high school, are a bit of a downer, a bit tragic. In elementary school, I remember reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and A Wrinkle in Time. And those are fun. But I always hear that in high school and even junior high school, things get more serious. I know these are literally like The Great Gatsby and Moby Dick. Julie, any Shakespeare story. I love Shakespeare. He's awesome. A genius, a man way ahead of his time. But I never really understood why we read them. I know they're literary classics and they've been voted on. They're known as the literary canon, which is cool. But a lot of kids kind of, even me, in high school and growing up an only child, I didn't really have a lot of friends, and I got bullied a lot. 30 years ago, I got bullied, and we all get bullied, and it's not a fun thing. But I remember, back then, 30 years ago, I could go home, and it would be over. But right now, this day and age, if people get bullied, and things have happened, sad things, and we pray for everybody always. If you get bullied when you go home, it's not over because of the social media. And I love social media. It's a great invention. I met some really cool people here. I get to express myself on right here in this camera. But whether you like my videos or don't like my videos, and when I do this, I give you everything that I have, whether I'm having a serious conversation or having fun, or both. Whether I'm playing my wrestler or giving a rundown on the show or my opinions on certain things, I give you everything I have, always. It's what I love. But I'm here to urge that even though the books are a bit of a downer, and it's hard to make friends nowadays. People are on the social media, and things can happen. Social media does get abused, but there's a way out. And I'm here the biggest way out to give social media a rest. Video games are great. I'm a gamer. I got my Zelda shirt on. That's great too, but it's very important to keep your mind sharp. Reading is very important. All right. The books in school may not be, even for me, weren't the cup of tea you wanted, because it's such a serious matter and things that go down, with Mice and Men and the Iliad and all that. Like I said, great American classics written by geniuses. But people need to smile sometimes, in a situation, for being bullied, or you just don't have any friends, or if you're different. The perfect example right now, I'll even recommend the book off the bat that I really enjoyed, Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. So the inventor of this book, James Harden, whatever his name is, Hardaway, I believe, right? And Wade Watts is the hero. So the movie came out last year, and the movie was a lot of fun. But the inventor of this, he didn't fit in, so he created the Oasis. All right. I don't want to spoil anything, but this gives you a great life lesson. It's a fun read. It's probably geared more to people my age, because it talks about all the pop culture and all the old school things from gaming to TV shows. But even for the kids that are younger, it's really a fun read. The movie was great. If you saw the movie, awesome. I enjoyed the movie. The book is definitely where you want to be. The book is definitely top notch. It's better. And, it's not that long. Is it a couple hundred, 200 pages? All right, so 372 pages. But I'll tell you what, it's a fun read, and there is a valuable lesson, a very valuable lesson here. Excuse my speech. I'm a little tired after all, and I'm old. No, seriously. It's cool. It's a fun read, and it has a lesson. I have a lot of my neighbors tell me, and I talk to the kids all the time, and I see them. Ali, these books, they make us read these books, and they're downers, man, and they're sad and they're depressing. Hey, look, they're classics. Like I said, they were voted on by literature and English teachers all around the world, all around the globe. It's the literary canon. I told them, like, hey, look, man. And I told them, I recommended that book to them as well. So, I mean, go to social media, watch your Netflix, watch a movie, sure, but keep your mind sharp. Do some reading. Read something fun. Ready Player One is fun. Me being a comic book mark myself, back then when I would come home and I would be bullied, I read plenty of comic books. I'm actually before I get super duper serious, I am going to recommend some comic books that I enjoyed reading. It's a good escape. I'm not going to say they're kid friendly, but the comics are a lot more rougher now, a lot more violent now. And I'm going to start with my personal favorite. Like I said, comic books aren't for everybody. It's an escape. If you feel different, you feel like you don't fit in, like the guy in Ready Player One, feel like an outcast, you don't have to be. Social media can torture people. Yes, sadly. It gets abused all the time. But there's a way out. You go to your family, you go to your pets, you go to friends. No one is ever totally alone. I thought I was alone, and I had my friends back then, all those years ago, ringing my bell and coming to me, who I still talk to today. And I love you guys and girls. Thank you so much. I don't want to mention any names. I don't really want to. You know who you are. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but you know who you are. And when I thought I was alone, you were there. Um, from my experience, nobody is ever truly alone. But one thing that helped me is, me growing up, I had Mr. Rogers and I had the Muppets, I had He-Man. But nowadays, social media keeps going. It does. You gotta shut that down. Keep your mind sharp. Read a book or a comic. Comics aren't for everybody. But even if you're not a comic fan, this is my favorite graphic novel, The Long Halloween by Jeff Lee and Tim Sale. This original run took place over a year, 13 issues of Batman. Someone who commits murders during the holidays. Every holiday, somebody loses their life. So you may think it's tragic, but it does have lessons in it. You read this, and yeah, Batman's a fictional character, but you learn things from here. You learn lessons. You see at the holidays, they give you background on the holiday. Oh, what's this holiday? Quick background, not for everybody. My personal favorite. I know comics aren't for everybody, like I said, but even if you're not a comic fan, The Long Halloween, especially Halloween, coming up next month, it's not a bad read. You know, may not be for everybody, but it's not. You could do worse than The Long Halloween. You know what I'm saying? Comic wise, another one that I really enjoyed, The Dark Knight Returns. This is actually a darker tone on Batman. Frank Miller came out in like 1980s. I want to say 86, 87, and he wrote this. And even Stephen King said, probably the finest piece of comic art ever to be published in a popular edition. Stephen King put this guy over. I'll get to Stephen King later, who's one of my all-time favorite writers. Batman, he's old, he retired, can't let it go. Comes out of retirement, a whole bunch of shit happens. Shit goes crazy. It's really good. Again, even if you're not a comic fan, this is a really cool read, and you learn things here as well. And you got Superman. Superman always has something to teach you, even though he's a fictional character. But I can definitely recommend that. Even if you're not a comic fan, you don't have to be. Um, I don't think this is as dark as The Dark Knight Returns. It might be to some people. Kingdom Come. This right here is just a complete alternate reality. Mark Waid, Alex Ross. There's an alternate reality, and Batman and Superman are older. Wonder Woman is older, but they're there. They're still saving the world, doing what they got to do. Heck of a read. And it's an Elseworlds, meaning it's totally what if kind of thing, like Marvel has the what ifs. Elseworlds is a DC Comics' what if. Again, you learn lessons in here. Like I said, they're fictional characters. I'm not saying the books are going to change your life, and I'm not saying any of these comics are going to do that, but they take you away for a while, and they have a lot of reading. All right, you read these books. There's a lot. There's a lot to read in these comics. All the same, there's a lot of panels to read. Keeps your mind sharp. You might even see a long word in there. Oh, really? That word's real. You can look it up in the Scrabble book or something. And also, like I said, being bullied, I had comics with Mr. Rogers and the Muppets. Also, what I enjoyed reading a lot, which is really awesome, I want them all to make a movie, but now with Spider-Man going back to Sony, Secret Wars. This right here is a Marvel's Finest Edition. It is unbelievable. So some random alien decides, oh, I'm bored. Let me kidnap all the heroes and villains and make two groups, Group A, Group B, heroes versus villains. Whole bunch of storyline on another planet. Whole bunch of fights going on. Again, beautiful artwork. A lot of reading. Like I said, my whole point is here to reading keeps your mind sharp. You don't have to feel alone or depressed. Sure, getting home you might be sad, and if you have to shed a tear, do so. Cry on your pillow, do whatever, do so. I've done it. We all have emotions. We're human, aren't we? And this is Jim Shooter. Nice. Secret Wars again. So even with the comics, you kind of have to know who the heroes are, but you see things here. Things happen, things go down, and strategic. If you're into that type of thing, not bad. Probably my favorite Marvel is the Secret Wars. And now the big one over here. Hang on, make a little room to get to these guys later. Gotta make a little room here for the big one from Marvel. Infinity Gauntlet. This thing is huge. What are you wondering? Even as big as this is, it's not bigger than Stephen King's The Stand. The Stand is still bigger. But hey, you know what? Again, a lot of reading, a bunch of stories. We just had the movies. Avengers Endgame is based on this. Infinity Gauntlet. Of course, the comic is totally different. I enjoyed the movies. Infinity War and Endgame, I enjoyed them a lot. But you want to really get the rundown where it all started. Infinity Gauntlet sort of be. It's a lot of reading, but it's fun reading. You see things. You see great artwork. Again, beautiful artwork. Plenty to read. And this links the main storyline and a bunch of crossovers from Spider-Man, X-Men. The movie was great. I enjoyed Endgame a lot. You couldn't get everybody, unfortunately. I remember they were teasing Secret Wars at one point, but now they got that Fox. Disney bought Fox, so they got X-Men and Ghost Rider and all them. But Spider-Man's going back to Sony. That's just maybe a video for another time. But as far as the comic reading goes, yeah, then the comics aren't for everybody, but they kept me going. When I felt alone and nobody's around, and I was upset. And I think now, the way social media dominates, I think you could read a comic, you'd be alright. And if comics aren't for you, as far as modern day reading goes now, um, Meg, not bad. Steve Alton. The movie came out, and Jason Statham is one of my favorite actors, but the book was way better. It's rare when the movie's better than the book. In my opinion, the movie was better than the book twice, only two times. Jurassic Park movie I thought was better, and Jaws was the movie was definitely better because the you just talked about tragic. The Peter Benchley original novel was sad. I'm not gonna say why. Give it a read if you want. But the Meg is okay, and the movie did what it had to. Left a lot out. The book is way better. If you're into that whole prehistoric big giant shark taking over the world thing, sure, why not? It's a matter of taste, right? And again, plenty of reading. They got this in paperback, hardcover. Again, my whole thing is here to keep your mind sharp. And reading is important. I remember years ago I had one of my teachers in high school tell me, John Hannigan. I don't know where he is now. My Madison people know who that is. So Mr. Hannigan was going to get into politics or something. And one big thing he always says, read, read, read. He would say to everybody. He would say, read a comic, read the newspaper, because reading keeps your mind sharp, keeps you aware. Now, granted, reading isn't for everybody. I know a few relatives that they don't really like reading. My mom doesn't like reading. I try to push her. Like I said, there's just an idea. The whole reading thing here, what I'm showing is my pitch, an idea to get away from social media and give the games and TV a break. Like I said, it's not for everybody. Now, one thing I really did enjoy, I read this Edgar Quintero, Meddling Kids. A completely different take on the Scooby Doo story, modernized. Cursing, adult situations, yeah. So this might be for an older audience, but it's actually a fun read. A lot goes on. It's actually a good story. Rumors abound that this might be a movie. Some supposedly they're trying to was it bid on the rights to make this movie. I haven't heard any directors mentioned yet, but a bunch of studios, Warner Brothers, Disney, but Scooby Doo's owned by Warner Brothers. So I think Warner Brothers will go first. I know Disney wants to get into everything, which is fine. It's their right to get into everything. I think they're a little greedy. Like I said, that whole Spider-Man thing's a video for another time. But this is just a complete take on a Scooby Doo story. There is tragedy here, but everything gets resolved where it's not as rough as the stuff that you have to read in high school. A lot of fun. What else we got here? That's modern day reading. So over here we have Um, well, how'd I get there? I forgot about this. I have the game hand. We'll skip that one. But that does contain a lot of reading, but I'm not going for a game theme here. I'm not sure how I got my pile. How'd you get here? I guess I wasn't paying attention. It's kind of late. Well, for older people like me, yeah, why not? He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. They have a She-Ra version, He-Man version, mini comic collection. Pick it up. Plenty of reading, man. But for this, you got to really be a He-Man fan. Whereas the comics I showed you, you don't really have to be a comic fan to know because they kind of they don't give an origin of the heroes, but you know who they are. You heard about them, you know. But He-Man, yeah, probably my favorite cartoon ever, next to Batman the animated series. Not sure how that got in there. Anything else getting here doesn't? All right, so that's good. Other things I turn to now, I mentioned in elementary school, The Chronicles of Narnia. Now they only made you read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is awesome, you know. But I got the whole set here. This is probably my favorite series. With all due respect to Harry Potter and Game of Thrones and the Aragon series, this is my favorite. I must have read these books 4 or 5 times over. They're not long, it's a lot of fun, and there's a resolution. The last battle is the last battle. C.S. Lewis, again, ahead of his time, absolute genius. You know, I know a lot of people prefer the Lord of the Rings over the Narnia. And I love the Lord of the Rings as well, and the Game of Thrones. I'm not knocking any of those. My favorite, the Chronicles of Narnia, and I know a lot of these. I know a lot of these are available digital. People have a Kindle. I'm old school. I like the print edition. So I can, Kindles are great. I'm not knocking the Kindle. It's a great thing to have. And then, you have to carry all the books. You just have them in your memory card or whatever, and that's awesome too. But if you're into fantasy, a lot of people, like I said, we all have taste. People prefer Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Aragon, Harry Potter. Awesome. I love them all, but my personal favorite, probably because I read this first as a kid, would be the Chronicles of Narnia. They're all cool. In order, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which we all read in fifth grade, fourth or fifth grade, I don't really remember. It was actually the second story. The first one was The Magician's Nephew. They're all fun. The Dawn Treader. They made a couple of movies based on these, and well, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe was okay, but the Prince Caspian and the Dawn Treader are not better than the books. But they were good. I enjoyed them. I have them. I own them because I love the series. And all of a sudden, they stopped making them. It's a real shame. I'm hoping they bring these back. They can really, I don't know if it's going to take off like the Harry Potter or the Lord of the Rings, but, they can get some play on that. Heck, Netflix and Amazon, can stream it there and stream the parts one per year for 7 years. Who knows? But it'd be good to see those again, you know. Another old school take I have here. Yeah, I remember I got bullied really bad one time, and I had Narnia, but I also had one of my heroes, King Arthur. This is actually a lot of people don't know about this. Howard Pyle. The story. Maybe he will make thee a knight of the Round Table, and there is no honor all in the world that can be as great as that. King Arthur and his knights. This is super old school. Supposedly he's known as the first superhero, the first great hero. There's plenty of movies about him that are really good. The best movie on Arthur? I don't know. Maybe Excalibur was really good. I really enjoyed First Night. Arthur's older, Sean Connery. Awesome. Then King Arthur was another movie they made with Lone Grufford, right? And forgot who else was in it. Okay, he was more of a modern, not bad, but think we'll stick with the book. If I had to pick a King Arthur adaptation, I go with First Night because I love Sean Connery. Like I said, these books I'm trying to show different, sci-fi, fantasy, monsters, comics. I'm trying to give a diverse view. Like I said, reading isn't for everybody, but give it a chance. I love this story, King Arthur, and I've always admired him as a hero, and I love hearing that stuff, the Holy Grail and all that, the Soul Excalibur. It's awesome. Yeah, got a few more to go here. As the video's running a little longer than I wanted it to, but I think it's important to embrace reading. Just because you have to read books in school that may not be your fancy, and they kind of, they're required. But just because you have to read doesn't mean you can't go on the side and read other things. I used to go on the side. I read these on the side always. I do my assignments, do my book reports, be ready for whatever test I want to give you. But I was able to work through it because I had, you know, my fantasies, my books, my worlds, whatever. These, you can't go wrong with these. And Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park. Michael Crichton's one of my favorite writers. Lost World and Jurassic Park movies. Andromeda Strain, a TV show just ended, I think. Really cool. These are big sci-fi take. Heck, man, this came out in 1969, man. Really old school, you know. I'm dating myself here. These came out in 90 and 93, I think, were the years on these. Really good, Michael Crichton. Awesome writer. He also wrote Congo. Not bad. But yeah, all these books, you know, keep your mind sharp. But seeing as Halloween is a month away, you want some really cool, quick Halloween readings? I know they make you read these in school. Well, they used to make us. I don't know, Edgar Allan Poe, the tales of Edgar Allan Poe, his poems, his tales, all that, the Rue Morgue and the Lost of Breath and all that other cool stuff, the Towers and all this cool stuff he wrote. Halloween reading at its best. Edgar Allan Poe, ahead of his time again. Definitely an artist. My boy Stephen King. This right here, separate or together. Carrie, Salem's Lot, and The Shining. I actually didn't open this yet because I actually just bought these. I like how it looked. I have these books separately over there, stashed in my bookshelf. I didn't want to open it. It looks so nice. I'll probably open it one day, or maybe I'll give it as a gift to somebody who appreciates Stephen King. These are horror, Halloween themed, big time. But even back then, you had a few adult themes for, you know, not violent, scary. But Stephen King wanted to, you know, they just wanted to scare you. They didn't want to really go to the violence. And there's violence involved, you know. You've seen those movies. There's plenty of violence involved, especially with The Shining. But there's a different take, you know. And as far as Halloween goes, that I read every year, and I'm going to start reading it again. I've been reading this book every year for, I don't even know how those count. It's my favorite book ever. Richard Matheson, I Am Legend. The original movie by Vincent Price, The Last Man on Earth, is awesome. Then you had Will Smith's I Am Legend. Then you had Charlton Heston, The Omega Man. All great takes on this story. A virus turns people into vampires. You know, Robert Morgan is on his own. You know, he's the last man on Earth, or so he thinks. But in this case, it's Robert Neville. But in Vincent Price's movie, it's Robert Morgan. I named my cat Morgan after Robert Morgan, Vincent Price's character in The Last Man on Earth, which is awesome. The most accurate to this is Vincent Price, Last Man on Earth. I definitely recommend that. It's a cool Halloween movie to watch. I watch that every year as well. I'll be watching all the Vincent Price movies. I love this man, Vincent Price. I love Richard Matheson. Awesome. I Am Legend is my favorite book. It's a great story. It's logical. It's very scientific. And this is old school. So yeah, I Am Legend with Will Smith was good. They modernized everything, which was fine. But that's the original right there, man. That is the original. You know? And like I said, these books are designed just to take you away for a little while. Me being the only child and being bullied. I was never truly alone, but when I felt alone, I had my books. I had Mr. Rogers, I had the Muppets, I had He-Man, Batman, you know. And I always had my mom and my grandma, and I'm lucky to have them now. Yeah, but I know this is my message: is don't let to all my friends, my friends' kids, your parents, you guys are awesome. I've known you forever. Your kids are beautiful. You all have beautiful families. They don't have to be down by the reading in school. You know, reading's a little rough and it can be a little complicated. And they got to take a test, and it gets sad. And even those who get bullied, you know, I'm not saying these books are gonna change your life. I can't promise that. But I can't say they taught me things. From the comic books to the readings, I learned a lot from these books. You know, it's an escape. So if anybody's being bullied, you know, try reading a book. You know, comic, the books I recommend, or go online. There's plenty of books out there. Richard Madison, you know, Michael Crichton. There's plenty of things you can read. There's so many books, so many authors who want to share their love with you, who want to take you away and help you. You know, get away from the world for a little while and forget. And even go back to the old school. The Harry Potters are great. The Lord of the Rings are great. All awesome, awesome things to read. And like I said, I know reading isn't for everybody, but it can be. Give them a chance. Try it. You know, it's important to keep your mind sharp because regardless if you're into reading or not, all the words, phrases, and whether they have a picture or not, you read, you learn new words, keeps you thinking, you know. And I learned that a long time ago. So once again, a safe and happy school year to all my friends, children. God bless everyone. Be safe. Have a great year. Holidays are upon us, and I'll be here to talk about the holidays as well. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. Signing off.